I found unhinged messages on my boyfriend's phone. I want to report it. Hi Reddit, I've been in a relationship with my boyfriend, let's call him Fred, for 2.5 years. We're both physicians. He's 30 and I'm 28. I'll try to give you a full picture so I can get accurate perspectives from you all. When we started dating, we saw each other almost every day. Now I only see him maybe twice a week as he works 24-hour shifts at 2 hospitals, A and B, with only 1 day off in between, which he spends mostly sleeping. He used to spend those days with me, even if it was just a nap in my bed. But not anymore. A bit of context, Fred lost his job at Hospital A last summer due to financial issues. His childhood best friend, we'll call him Tom, helped him get into Hospital B in October. Then in December, Hospital A rehired him, so now he works at both. For my part, I worked at a healthcare center that shut down, and I haven't found another job since. I've been depressed most of my life, and I've had low self-esteem despite often being told I'm attractive. I suspect Fred also struggles with insecurity, but he hides it behind an overly confident facade. We're similar in some ways, but very different in others. Fred has always had trouble showing empathy, especially when I cry. To be fair, it often happened during fights. But the things we fought over were often petty. For example, one time during dinner with my family, he got furious because I leaned over to see who viewed a story that he had posted. He accused me of being jealous and made me cry, yet offered no comfort. Early in our relationship, we used to work together in the same building briefly. That's how we met. I found out by checking his phone, yes I know, that before we got together, he was flirting with nearly every woman at our workplace except me. In chats with Tom, he described how he was shooting his shot with all the women. It was humiliating, especially since I had made the first move. A month into our relationship, I also caught him flirting with another girl. Uh-oh. He has a very high libido and was honest about it from the start. I, on the other hand, had barely any libido before meeting him, but spicy sleep with him was great. Unfortunately, I've gained weight from antidepressants and ED treatment, and now I barely have any spicy sleep drive. I once attempted self-harm, oh no. I'm also planning to leave the country to continue my studies. We had talked about going together, but he seems to have forgotten that plan after going back to Hospital A. About 6 days ago, I went through his phone again. 6 months earlier, I had seen a message where he commented on a coworker's skirt with Tom and another where Tom sent a picture of a patient's chart, which is Leah, a coworker from Hospital A. And Fred replied, do a gynecological exam on her, please, which was gross, but not conclusive since she was actually there for a OBGYN surgery. Around that time, Fred changed his phone password. And we do have an edit. It seems that everyone is reacting specifically bad towards this part. I want to note that, and all of you might think I'm delusional, but Leia is Fred's friend and a very chill coworker from Hospital A. He was never mentioned again by Fred with Tom. Tom sent her chart because she was at Hospital B, and Fred already knew that she was getting fibroid surgery because they are friends. Fred already knew that she was there in Hospital B, so Tom showing her chart was most likely him saying, hey, look, she's already here. And Fred told him to please do an exam on her to make sure that she's okay. Because Tom didn't laugh or anything. Okay, does that make sense? I checked again recently because I had this sinking feeling. He's lied to me before, like when he came to my place wasted and swore that he hadn't had a drink. What? Nothing could have prepared me for what I found this time. Fred and Tom have been regularly objectifying nearly every attractive woman that they work with. Some messages include, Fred on Nurse Monica. Her body is amazing. Her butt is delicious. Her kitty must be wild, dude. I was staring at her huge front airbags. I want to suck them until all the plastic comes out. Fred on Nurse Elena. She looks impossible to satisfy. She must be crazy in bed. Nice butt. And Tom said, yeah, she says so. She claims herself to be good in bed. Fred also sent Tom a picture. These were already opened, C1's pictures, so I didn't see them, of a woman. I suspect Monica or Elena. Apparently some girl sent him a picture or selfie exercising at home. And he said, you won't believe this. Look how hot she is. Look at her exercising at home. And since the weather is hot. And that picture made him, quote, kind of corny. He claims that they weren't sent directly to him, that those were actually screenshots from a story and not from a chat with her. Tom even joked, well, you see where she's going, sending you those pics. You should have 2 phones for you to be able to save those pics. What? And Fred replied, nah, I won't go that far. There was also another one in April in which Fred sent Tom a picture. Again, I couldn't see those, to which Tom replied, "Oh my gosh!" And then Fred said, "You told me to shoot my shot everywhere." There were also direct messages with some of the women. He replied pretty to one of Elena's stories. His chats with Monica and Beth seemed work-related, but I suspect that he deletes messages. His chat with Leah was empty. Then there was a particularly disturbing message from Fred told Tom, "As soon as I'm done with work on this shift, I'll go sleep with Sam." As in sleep next to someone during a shift. Wait, what? Okay, alright. When I confronted him, he pretended to not know who Sam was until I showed him proof that he follows her on Instagram. And he changed his story, saying that she was not on his shift, which was a lie, and eventually admitted that she changed shifts in December, also probably a lie. He keeps brushing all this off as jokes, saying things like Monica's front airbags are ugly anyway, and no one ever sent me a picture. And then he's not shooting this shot at all because he works really hard, and that's true, I guess, because I know it's not easy to work in the ER. But there's just too much. Too many comments, too many lies. I don't have concrete proof that he's physically cheated, but emotionally, mentally, I feel like he's constantly fishing for attention, testing boundaries, looking at his coworkers in a spicy way, and mocking women with his friend. Reading their chats made me sick. The way they talk about women, like meat, like playthings, is deeply dehumanizing. And it's not just one or two messages, it's hundreds. And the worst part, he chose to talk about all of this with his best friend like it's normal. I feel so overwhelmed. I don't trust him. I don't even know if I truly ever did. But I also don't know if I'm overreacting. Is this something men do just for fun? Are these just jokes, or is this the ugliest kind of red flag? What would you do if you were in my shoes? There is an edit for the people saying that I should report him. I know that you're completely right. Unfortunately, this kind of behavior has been normalized in my culture. You see residents cheating all the time with nurses and such. I was in such a shock and still processing all of this. My whole body is shaking from being so vulnerable by sharing this post. And I also want to thank all the kind words. I really needed them. Also, I do work, but from home, but it's not nearly as lucrative as working in a health center, which has led to me not being able to pay my therapist anymore. A little bit of an update, so let's get into it. I really didn't expect for so many people to respond and to be so invested in this situation. It's even funny to read some people saying it's fake. It's also worth noting that I did use AI to improve my writing. If I hadn't, I think I wouldn't have been able to get my point across. It's shocking. It's shocking seeing people's negative reactions for everything, even for things that I talked about early about our relationship that I didn't think were that bad. I didn't plan to continue with this ugly story, but since so many people are invested, here it goes. Today I spoke with him, telling him that I'm going to report him to his female bosses, because he also spoke about them, but I didn't add that. And he got so mad that he told me that he's my enemy now. What? And that we should break up. It's over. And he also responded with a threat saying that was an illegal invasion to privacy and that he would speak to his cousin who's an attorney and that his parents will find out about this. And I'm very close with his parents, so he will be prepared. And I told him, okay. What amazed me at that moment is that he would be okay with his family finding out the things that he says. But oh well, that I guess is for the best. It's all too overwhelming, but I do feel some clarity now. And that is the end of that story.